How's it going, guys? I'm back at it. Um, that hissing in the background is my air compressor. It's annoying. Anyways, back to the engine. It's coming along. I shot a video earlier about blackening your hardware to reuse it because it's still better than buying hardware store hardware. Anyways, I stripped, sandblasted some stuff yesterday. I did the pulleys and the motor mount brackets and yeah, a lot of the bracketry. I sandblasted yesterday and painted it. I use this Rust-Oleum. I used a primer first, engine primer. I don't have any of that handy right now, but I use this stuff. Not a big fan, actually, to be honest with you. Doesn't lay down that well, but it did flatten out, so there's that. So what am I doing now? Well, I fixed the broken stud over here. I drilled it out, and for you guys that have ever had this issue, that's the sign of victory right there. That's all that was left after I kept drilling bigger and bigger and bigger until I got like one drill size away from the 5/16 that the bolt is, or stud rather. And then I just started tapping it because I didn't want to go any further, screw up the threads, and this came out the bottom. Luckily, and I saved. I kind of knew what was in for, so I saved the freeze plug. I'm just going to show you the front one for demonstration purposes, but I saved this one for last, and I popped it out right when I was doing this, drilling it out or whatever. So I seen it working its way down when I was tapping it, and I was able to fish it out of there so it wouldn't end up in the cooling system. If you're not familiar, don't use a gasket on these. The factory didn't. Some other people have mentioned that it's supposed to be a metal to metal whatever thing. They do send gaskets that blow out, so I'm just going to do this. The hardware that, the exhaust system takes a lot of abuse. Excuse me. And therefore, a lot of rust, corrosion, broken bolts, hence the broken stud. So if you're in need for hardware for one of these engines and you're trying to find factory original and you type in like 1990 or even mid 80s to 90s, you're not going to find nothing. So I did some research, and because the 318s, 360s, 340s, whatever, have been built since the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, depending on what small block you're doing. A lot of this stuff is interchangeable. So I found that this kit here, any kit that goes from these 2 years, or I'm sorry, from 64 to 69, any kit that you can find, this just happens to be from Mega Parts, will work for this. There is a 70 to 70, I don't know, but that kit won't work. There's a couple bolts in there that are obscure for those engines. So if you're wanting to find the correct hardware for your 80s, early 90s, this is what you want. And it comes with the conical washers, your studs, which I was able to just reuse the one stud, but it comes with the proper studs, proper length, and I've had issues where I've bought some from the store and they're just too short, like from O'Reilly's or something. So getting the correct hardware is key. And then you got your longer one, you got two long ones, two short ones, and then two nuts with conical washers that go on in the studs. So they're already black oxide. They're a little lighter than the stuff that I just blackened today, but I'm not gonna worry about it since it's exhaust hardware. Like your long ones going out on the insides of the outside runners, or whatever you want to call them. And then your two short ones go in the center here. Make sure you put your washer, if you don't know, make sure you put the cup down like this, like that. And the reason for this style, I guess, I'm not an engineer, so don't take my word as gospel, but I've heard others say that the reason for the conical washer design is that the two cast iron pieces will expand and contract with heat, and this will allow that contraction without breaking off your hardware, or cracking your manifolds. So that's that. I'm having trouble here, and I don't know, I'm on camera. I already had these ran down once. Tightened, whatever. I don't know. Can't talk. These are all 1/2 inch. Make sure you have it the right way. I'm just going to run these down. I'm not going to torque them with this. I'm going to torque them with my torque wrench and make sure you get it. This is awesome. The train is going by. Okay. Got them all loose. Snug down, whatever. What else I gotta do? I'm just gonna put the water pump on, assemble the front. I'll show you what I've got here so far. A lot of guys, and I was in this camp too for a while, especially when I did my daughter's truck. Delete the EGR, delete the smog, delete all the emission stuff. Well, I think that's fine if you're not planning on using the computer, which I am. I'm planning on running the computer. I'm planning on keeping the TBI. So I'm not deleting the EGR valve or the smog pump. And I know a lot of people say, well, they rob power. Well, how much power does an EGR valve rob? I mean, it's a fixed item right here, and it's EGR exhaust gas recirculation, so I don't see any power loss there. The air pump, rather, it might take 20 horsepower to run that. Are you really going to notice 20 horsepower? And then people are going to say, well, it's going to make the car slower, it's going to make the truck slower, not having as much power. Well, honestly, it didn't have that much power to begin with, unless you're planning on going, you know, aluminum heads, aluminum intake, uh, big cam, headers. I mean, this is going to be a cruiser. This is going to be a daily driver. We're not looking for ETs with this engine, so I don't really care. Thanks for your suggestions if you have them, and I will listen to them, and I appreciate it. But this is just a stock rebuild. This is not a performance build. I did clean up the intake ports and all that stuff, but honestly, I had to get in there and clean all that crud out of there anyways. So, and I don't think it's going to make any difference. If anything, it might make it worse. I don't know. Self-deprivation. Stop it. I get it. I get it. I'm a realist. And so, anyways, checking off the boxes little by little. I'm hoping to have this engine back in the truck this weekend. I'm gonna go out and detail the engine bay a little bit, clean it up. It's cruddy, gummy, gooey, dirty, but I think it's gonna clean up nice. It doesn't look like there's any rust or chain paint. Jesus, I don't think there's any like paint missing or rust or damage inside the engine bay, so I think it'll clean up nice, and I want to do that before I throw this in there. Mostly for the fact that if I have to get in there and start working on it and figure, you know, like if I have some leaks or whatever, I'm not going to be a filthy mess. It'll be nice and sanitary to work on. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. I got to put the other manifold on, and that one has the O2 sensor in it, and it also has this this guy here. You can see where it was rusting pretty good, and so I sandblasted it and primed it and painted it. But anyways, this cover is going to go over here on the manifold. Got a new O2 Bosch O2 sensor to put in it. Hoping this guy will fire up for us. So stay tuned and catch you later. Rock and roll.